So welcome to another edition of the Boxing Bantz podcast with a very lovely young Kate McLaren making her first fight in the UK. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very excited to be here and very excited for my first fight in the UK. How are you guys?
Yeah, I'm good.
Wow.
I am. I've just been enjoying the weather.
Yeah, that's it. We've just been moaning about haircuts.
I think I brought the weather from Australia with me. The weather's been amazing. Very, very lucky since I've been here. So
Yeah.
it's gorgeous.
I'll tell you what. I'll never get my legs out, right? But I've been wearing shorts.
Oh, it's good. You've got a bit of colour now then. That's awesome.
Yeah, they've gone from pale white to brilliant white. That's
Yeah.
Oh dear. The one thing that's funny here is in Australia the solariums or the sunbeds are illegal, and I come over here and every second corner I'm seeing sunbeds and solariums. I'm like, oh my god,
going in
you
them.
can always top it up in there legally.
Yeah.
legally. So, Kate, you know, not a lot of people understand your journey, but you're actually born here and then went to Australia. Why?
Well, okay, so I was born here. I left home. So I was born and raised Essex, England. Left home at 19. Yay, Essex. Left home at 19. Went over to Australia. Originally, it was just going to be 1 year backpacking. Fell head over heels in love with the country. And 14 years later, I finally returned.
What part of Australia
I was going to say,
that?
did you get lost?
I think I purposely got lost. But yeah, no, it was the best experience ever, and it's just such an eye opener for me. So, like, obviously, I was born and raised in a small country little town. I live in a place called High Rodin. It's a very,
I know
very
exactly where that
tiny
is. That's
little
like
country
Firefields
town.
area and that, isn't it?
Yes. So, like, literally, you walk out my front door and it's just fields everywhere.
I love
And
it.
then I went over to Sydney. We got a camper van, converted all the camper van and went travelling all up the East Coast. And my gosh, it was just the best experience of my entire life. I'd never seen anything like it. And it was kind of that really captured me. I think the first time I went on a surfing lesson, I had a whole pod of dolphins come out. And I was literally like, have I just died and gone to heaven? Like,
Wow.
this doesn't happen in High Roding.
No, it don't.
So
You get a combine
Australia
harvester
did
down
get my
there.
heart. Yeah.
Yeah, and I couldn't go surfing anyway, because if I go surfing, Japanese harpoon ships start coming out. So start chasing me around the ocean. So obviously you box in Australia. You know, how did that go for you? Because a few titles there.
Yeah, a couple of titles. So it actually went really, really well. Like, I was a complete novice when I went into boxing. I had no amateur background. I got thrown straight in the deep end and had to learn on the job. And basically, I went straight into pros in 2021, December 2021. I had my first professional fight live on KO, live on Fox Sports, with all these sponsors on my back. And I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? This is the scariest moment of my life. And I came out of that ring and I loved every second of it. Once I'd shift the nerves, I was like, this is like euphoric. It's just such an incredible experience.
But you must have been buzzing when you come out of there.
Buzzing was an understatement. I couldn't believe what I had just accomplished, if I'm honest. I was like a small town girl like me, fighting as a boxer, professional boxer, on TV, privileged to have and be representing all these amazing sponsors. Like, this is just a dream come true. So, it was great. That was the beginning of the journey.
You're doing something what most girls dream about.
Oh, yeah.
Or
I mean, like, I'm not too sure how many girls dream of getting punched in the face. I'm going to be honest. I can't say I go to bed at night and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get punched tomorrow.
Oh, how funny.
I kind of understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Apart from the punching in the face.
Oh, yeah, or the torturous gym workouts. You standing one side of a bag, whacking it, and sort of like Saddam standing the other side, and in the back.
Yeah.
And do you know what?
Yeah.
We've just, obviously, we speak to like a lot of female fighters, and we spoke to Nina Hughes earlier on, and I don't think women get enough credit. I really don't. I think that somebody needs to come out of the woodwork and say, female boxing, we've really got to invest heavily in this. You know, it's we thought with Jake Paul we were going to see it, but obviously stuck with Amanda Serrano. You know, what's it like to to fight as a female? I mean, obviously getting punched in the face, obviously we all know about it, but what do you feel about the whole thing?
I mean, it might sound quite cliche, but, you know, they say boxing isn't for girls. And I believe that that's just not true. I believe boxing is for anyone and everyone. And the benefits around boxing are so impressive. You know, it's incredibly, incredibly good for your mental health. It's incredibly good for your overall fitness and well-being of your body. And it's a feel-good factor. There's not many sports out there where you can go and hit a bag for 30, 40 minutes, walk away with a massive sweat on, burn a million calories, not quite a million, but a lot of calories, and just go, oh man, like all my stresses of the week now gone. I always say, if you box, you don't need a therapist.
I don't know. I mean, you just said 30 to 40 minutes working a bag. I think 3 or 4 would do about me. I mean,
hey, whatever your fitness level's at, do you know what? I just think you just got to get in there, give it a go, have a bit of confidence in hitting the bag. And honestly, it's just the best stress relief. It's just an incredible buzz, and it's a feel-good factor. And I really do believe for women, it's quite empowering, you know? Like, enough of this women can't box. Hold on. Let me show you how we box. All right? Move over. Okay, move over.
Hang on. You listen, Kate, you don't have to convince me, because if I come around your house and you say you're doing the dishes, I'll go, do you want me to take the clean ones out and do them too? No problem. Anything you say.
Yeah.
Well, you've seen me in the gym, Andy, haven't you? And it's like, we're not here to play boxing. So,
no. I don't, in fact, I don't know who's worse, you or Sadem. Either way, I'm doing the dishes twice, just to make sure. I didn't miss them.
I have to say, since I've been training with Sadem, I've really had to level up. Like, she is one hell of an athlete, that woman. And, you know, training with her, sparring with her, doing everything with her, like, she's an incredible role model for women. And yeah, I've really had to level up my game with them, and we've got some solid rounds in together. And obviously for this camp and this fight coming up, I've been privileged enough to be working quite a lot with Sadem, and yeah, she's helped me massively, that girl. So a big shout out to Sadem.
And she is one hell of an athlete, isn't so strong.
Oh yeah.
And one of you know, one of the nicest that I've ever come across. And you know, I haven't actually come across anyone who's really horrible to me. Not yet.
Not yet. No, I think that's because, like, you know, I was actually only talking about this the other day. A lot of people who have, like, sedentary jobs that are sitting at a desk all day, at the end of the day, it's a tiring, fatiguing feeling for you. But I think it's quite mentally draining. And then for you to think, oh, I'm going to go to the gym, that's quite challenging in a 9 to 5. Like, I've been in that situation myself, and it's like, oh, shit, like, I'm exhausted. I've been having to deal with different clients all day. I've been having to make sure that I'm hitting my KPIs and whatever, and now I've got to go and train. Like, it's a tough thing to do. It really is. But once you've done it, like, it's just so worthwhile. You feel $1 million, and it's just that initial getting started as well. As soon as you start training, the good endorphins are going to start releasing. And I promise you, you'll be so happy that you've done it once you've just got up and gone to the gym,
right,
you know?
You sold it. I'm going training tomorrow.
Do it, Max.
And do you know what, Kate? Listen, he's so full of shit. The closest he's going to walk from his bed to the toilet. That's what he's going to... Yeah, I mean, I know... I mean, those of us who've been in the squared circle know about it. It does make you feel good, right? And you know, I started training again until I had to have an injection the other day, and I've been sick for the whole week. Yeah, just thanks to the doctors for that, just to, you know, FYI. But
we won't go down there.
Yeah, but I know, you know, going back to, you know, even at my age, 45, I thought, you know what, I really want to do this again. I could never fight because of obviously macular edema and that. But you can't ever leave it alone. I've been around boxing since I was 10 years old, you know. I'm like 45 now. You know, I don't want to go back in the ring. I get my eyes water. I was watching the other day. I was there.
5 minutes ago, you were saying you'd like to take some body shots from Kate. He went, women can't hurt me.
More than happy to practice my power punches. But no, Andy, you can't you can't get out of the circle. It's an amazing
No.
community. Once you've got those people around you inspiring you, and you know you're all in it together. They say boxing's a lonely sport, but when you've got a great team around you and you've got other athletes that are competing at an intense level the same as you never want to step away from that. You know, it's your lifestyle, it's your support system, it's your friendship circle, it's your life. It becomes your
Yeah,
life. And I can
I've
totally
noticed.
understand from the age of 10 to now why you love
Yeah,
it
'cause
so much.
I've noticed now Will's gym, like the Edge,
Yeah.
everyone loves everyone down there, don't they? You know, it's not a
Oh,
bad word said about anyone. It's all
it's
like one
so
big family
None
beautiful,
of you
sort of
have
thing.
been
honestly.
10 minutes after they've all gone. I pay loads.
No, do you know, like boxing can be quite political, and
Mm.
you know, some gyms. I mean, I've done quite a few camps, sort of all over the world. My last two camps were in LA and New York, and you know, it can be very, very intimidating walking into new gyms for sparring, and the people not being too welcoming. You know,
Oh,
and I
okay.
like with sparring. Obviously, we're trying our best. We want to perform at our best, but also it's like you do kind of need to look after your sparring partners, because without that sparring partner, and if you're, you know, not welcoming or not a nice person, it kind of makes the other person not want to come back. But it can be so intimidating. And the one thing that I loved was I came straight from Australia. I walked straight into Will's gym, and straight away I just felt part of the family,
It can't,
and it was just so lovely to have that. It really was.
can I ask you how you knew about Will?
Yeah, so my original plan was actually I was supposed to be moving to Vegas.
Right.
So I was supposed to be going from Sydney to Vegas, but I decided I was going to come home for 1 month and stay with mum and dad. And I wanted to obviously still be active with my boxing. I found Will on social media and we got talking quite a bit. And then there was another coach that I was going to train with. And I basically said, I'm going to try them both out and just see who I want to train with for the month. Walked straight into Edge Boxing. Will was there. Simon was there. Andy, I think you may have even been there as well. And I just straight away was like, I feel so at home. I
Yeah.
don't know if it was the English Essex accent that I was like, oh, my heart. I'm home. But no, the team was just so lovely. And it got to the point where I didn't go and train with the other coach. And then I just said to Will, like, I'm literally considering like changing my entire plan. And if you will take me under your wing and train me, I'm happy to fight under elite boxing, and I will stay in the UK to pursue my career. And you know, like I've been here 8 weeks now. We've actually got my first fight locked in live on DAZN, and I'm not allowed to announce it yet, but we've also got the second fight locked in, but we'll keep that on the hush
Oh,
for
we've got some
now.
hot news, eh?
But yeah,
Don't worry,
stay
I've
tuned.
got a conversation with
Give all
Will
my
after
secrets
this, and I'm
away.
going to be interrogating his house. Trust me.
No, we've got to focus on one thing at a time. But everything's locked in. It's going to be, you know, I mean, like we're almost in December, but and we're going to be busy, you know, and I'm just so grateful for that. You know, fights are hard to kind of align and come by, and I'm just very grateful. I've been here 8 weeks. I've trained my ass off. I'm working obviously with Joe Love as well, doing my strength and conditioning. He has turned me into an absolute machine as well as Will. And I really feel like it's the best thing I've done. Like I'm so happy that somehow I got guided to Will. I walked in that gym. I felt at home straight away. I've got phenomenal coaching. I'm training my ass off, and I'm privileged enough to be having my first UK debut live on DAZN on the top tier shows. So it's like, drop the mic.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to say, I mean, I love Johnny Clark. I love the shows he puts on. He's such a gracious host, and I'm going to ask him to come on our podcast. I'm going to bribe him, and I just think
Johnny's
that
lovely. I met him for the first time at the gym. Again, so warming, so lovely, so polite. Just a very nice promoter. And I know they say that the top tier shows are not like the biggest shows, but from everything I've seen and from everyone I've been speaking to, like these are massive shows.
Well,
like,
I mean, I talked to Eddie Hearn about it, and he said, you know what, they're actually becoming the feeder shows. Do you know what I mean? And they're very much, you know, Johnny's show.
Listen, he was
I'm
singing
going to
his
put in the
praises,
top
wasn't he?
5.
Oh,
Yeah,
Eddie
he
singing his
was.
praises.
What do you know what I like about Johnny's shows, right? I like about you turn up to and go, hey, it's Andy from, and I go, oh, Andy, and you don't have to say, I know, expect you coming. And they gave us the passes and was like, oh, great, where can we now go? Anywhere you like.
That's nice.
And that is really good. So when they say, you've got to go into your changing room, well, I'm sorry about that. I was given permission.
Yeah. No, it's fun. Do you know what? It's really important to get all that behind the scenes and the prep and everything that's going on before the fighter goes out. And it's, you know, for your job, running around with a camera and getting all the media and everything, like that's quite a tiring job, especially if you've got to get one pass for one thing, and then it just makes your job a lot harder. So it's nice that obviously Johnny just goes, yeah, like media straight and do what you want.
And
he's a great guy.
He is fantastic. He really is. And I can't wait. I mean, I think big things to tip for him, and especially top tier. And I love the way he gives a lot of local fighters. Last fight we were at, Jimmy Sains headed the bill. George Liddard was on the card. Obviously, Tom went down there. We were with Tom. You know, Tom loves the microphone. Absolutely loves it. And
so you have to say, Tom. Do you wanna? He goes, yeah, come in.
Absolutely.
He speaks so well, though.
Absolutely love that kid. Absolutely love that kid. And he's given me so much. And we were with him. We followed him pretty much everywhere there is. And I'm so looking forward to following you around. I'm kind of like, I reckon I'm like the lost sheep of boxing. I like follow around going.
I disagree. I reckon you just absolutely love the sport. And I think it's your way of just like staying a part of it, because obviously.
Yeah,
it is. Giving back into the sport as well, trying to give you the other side of boxing, because, as I say, a fan, you're watching it on telly, all you get is you walking out, getting in the ring, having a fight, and you're gone again. Like we're trying to show the other side of it.
4 months later, isn't it? Sort of 3-4 fights a year. That's what we want to try and do moving forward. Obviously, these podcasts give that sort of extra exposure to what goes on behind the scenes, you know. And then, how do you say this? I don't want to come across as like as kind of arrogant into it, but just sort of thinking, you know, we've got the ability to be able to show the true grit and grime of the sport. Do you know what I mean? It's not about looking at a beautiful Kate McLaren here on the screen. It's about looking what she looks like when there's blood dripping off her chin, sweat pouring absolutely everywhere, and with all due respect, stinking terribly after an extremely hard, punishing training session with Simon shouting at his face. But you know what I mean? You've got it's to see what the effort and the struggle and the hardship. And the other thing I think that what I like to expose is everyone has this common misconception, they're a professional boxer. They're absolutely minted. And you look at them and go, actually, and for women especially, unless you're in the top 0.5%, there is no money in this sport whatsoever. In men, you can be in the top 50% and there's money in it.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's a really tough game, and so many people give up because it is a tough game, and it's not just like physically tough. It's mentally very challenging. Like, it would be really good for you guys to do a lot of behind the scenes and like following people around on their camp, because the journey is a whirlwind. Like, it's up and down. Our emotions are up and down. And I was actually only speaking about this to Will today, and you know how, you know, I feel like the hormones change and how our emotions change, and I feel like as I'm getting closer to fight, I become a little bit more sort of snappy and a little bit more maybe short fused at home, and maybe a little bit more aggressive, if I'm going to be honest.
Is that you?
I say to my mum, it's
like
it's not personal. It's I'm mentally preparing to go to war.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I'm looking at the situation. On the 7th of September, I'm going to war. So I'm mentally and physically preparing for that. So if someone sort of says the wrong thing or something, I find I snap. But also my body's under extreme fatigue right now. You know, I'm just about to start my tapering phase of my camp. But it has been intense, to say the least. And, you know, that's a lot of physical strain on the body. And that's a lot of physical strain mentally as well. So I think, you know, if you're around a fighter while they're in camp, you do have to have quite a lot of patience with them, especially like cutting weight, jumping on the scales every day. Like, there's a lot of factors that go into this.
Yeah,
and that is definitely another reason why you need a good team.
Yeah, I think it'd be good if we can capture everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, literally
it'd be
everything.
great. And then Yeah, because I think a lot of people are very quick to jump at social media and go, "Oh my God, this girl's got it all," and it's like, well,
It ain't always the
it might look
case.
good on social media, but like you got to remember, as an athlete as well, not everything's always paid. Sometimes we're gifted,
Yeah.
so it's sometimes I say this as well, like to management and that, like people want to send you products. That's fine, but products aren't going to help me pay for my outgoings to continue to be a fighter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of overheads that people have no idea what go on. There's a lot of divisions through purses and sponsors, and it's not like, oh, you get a massive sponsor and it's just like, okay, well, I'm just going to run to the bank now and just like deposit my checks. Like, it's a grind. It's a day in, day out compulsive habit that you just have to do.
Well,
I do believe that the grind will pay off. I do believe that it's a slow burn, but it's a fucking hard slow burn. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I'm glad you mentioned that, because obviously we've spoke to Nina Hughes many times.
Yep.
And we was going to me, and he's going, "Oh yeah, you're a world champion. You ain't got to go work, blah blah blah." She went, "No, I'm a full-time worker and a mum,
Yep.
and I'm training." We was like, "What? You don't get enough money, basically." She was like, "Well, it's okay, but by the time you paid everyone taxes, it ain't a lot
the
of money."
slice of pizza is quite slim.
Yeah, you might have a couple of months worth of money there, but it's not going to be enough.
Yeah.
So,
it's not going to keep you for the entire year, is it? And it's
I mean, if you're just a single person, probably be okay-ish, but not being a mum.
Yeah, but not even then. I mean, it's. Look at a world champion in any weight division for males. You're talking good fight purses. We've heard of the rumours from world champions anywhere from 500,000 all the way up to an Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, 60, 80 million. Females, 40,000. People, and that's good, and that's good. And then when you sit there and go, well, that's great. She's got 40 grand in the bank. Wait a minute, stop. 15 to 20%. Yeah, 15 to 20% off to the manager. Hang on, no, I haven't finished yet. Then you got between 5 and 10% to the trainer. I know you haven't finised yet. And
the taxman wants his
old
bit.
Keir Starmer wants his bit as well. And you go, so what am I left with? About half. And then when you sit together, it's still 20 grand. And this is world championship level. Mm. And you go, but I've got to train then, and it's costing £500 a month just to get to training. Yep. And that doesn't include the car insurance and everything. And people have no idea that there is all these expenses involved, and they see them walk out and look at me. I've got an Everlast top or Fly gloves or whatever. They must be sponsoring it. Absolutely not. This is free. This because they gave it to me.
Even down to your kit, if that's not being paid for, it's costing you between £500 to £1,000. You know what I mean?
Even things like graphic designers, for all my kit, all my gear, everything I'm trying to do, like paying graphic designers to design your stuff, then going, finding a manufacturer to do all your printing for you. Then, if you haven't got time at the last bit of your camp or whatever, getting a social media manager, like paying them to look after your account. Like, there is so much to it. Like, so much to it.
I pay a fortune for our social media managers because we don't know shit about social media.
But you've got to be so passionate about this sport. Like, realistically, as women right now, we're not in it for the money, because we know for a woman, the money's not actually there. Unless we're signed by Jake Paul and we're, Amanda Serrano, which I have to say 100% deserves to be where she is. Unless you've got someone behind you like that, it's fucking hard for women. It really is.
And that we were just talking about that with Nina, and I think that you get to the point where you think there's something needs to be done here to not only inspire the next generation, but give them a hope that take this serious as a professional athlete. It's very difficult when you've, if you're talking around fight purses, and people talk about, or just go over to the fight purses and things, that's not a lot either. And most of the money has to come from ticket sales. And then after the ticket sales, they just think that this is, this is just easy and just money falls from the sky. It may do if you're involved with male boxing and you're in the top 50%. but you have to, in order to make any sort of money at all, your name has either got to be Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, and you know, that's going to make
Shields.
anything, Clarissa Shields, and you've got that sort of standing. But that's only the top 0.5%.
Yeah,
everything
that's right.
else has got to be. Has got to be then. I mean, if anyone wants to know what the definition of hustling is in boxing, just ask any female professional fighter, and she will tell you what hustling's all about. Because it's so difficult. But what frightens me is without the investment in female boxing, does it get left behind? Because you've got yourself, obviously, Sadem, you've got Raven Chapman, you've got Lily Winch, but you haven't got an abundance. So you walk into the gym, any gym, let's take Wheels, for example, you've got 3 or 4 good female professionals there amongst 10 males.
Mm-hmm.
And you think of who's about, and that's actually quite a good ratio in terms of any gym. The majority is 1 or 2, if any, professional female fighters. And without investment, what are we going to be looking at in 10 years' time?
You can't do the sport without investment. You got to have either a good support network. You know, I've got friends and family and you know, people over in Australia that are still supporting me here, you know, like just trying to do anything and everything to get me through. You cannot do this with, like, I used to do it in Australia. I had to work full time. I ran my business. I was obviously founded my charity. I was doing so many different things, as well as trying to become a professional athlete and prep in camp and do everything that I need to do to prepare for my fight. And I was so burnt out. I've only just realised how burnt out I was over there, because now that I've stepped back and I feel so grateful and privileged that I've moved back in with my family just so I can pursue my dreams and my career at the age of 33. Like in Australia, like it would have been actually impossible for me to become a world champion, because I was paying for rent, I was paying for my car, I was paying for all of my bills and overheads, I was paying for everything with training. Like, it's the purse money, and once it's been divided out at this sort of level,
you're fighting for nothing, basically.
It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable, and you have to have a support system, and you have to have those sponsors backing you. And one thing I will say is, you know, when a sponsor is a good sponsor, when they stick with you when you're at the bottom, and they're with you the whole way through to when you make it at the top. That's what a true sponsor is. They don't jump on the bandwagon when you've made it at the top and you've got hundreds and thousands of followers and everyone knows your name. Of course, everyone's going to want to jump on board. It's times like now when sponsors should be jumping on board, supporting these athletes, especially women, because of obviously the pay gap, and helping these athletes who are dedicated and dedicating their whole life to this sport, help them to get to the top. And guaranteed that athlete will go above and beyond if they know that you're a loyal sponsor. You're not just going to fall off the bandwagon when it's like, oh, well, she lost her last fight, you know? Mm. You got to stay through the whole grind with that athlete, and I promise it will reward you tenfold, you know? I see it very often. People are very quick to kind of jump on, and then contracts end and they pull out, oh, sorry, we run out of money or whatever. And it's not just myself, but with other athletes that I've been around in gyms and stuff, they're like, I've just lost my biggest sponsor. Like, I'm screwed. I think I'm going to have to give up boxing. Like, if that person's in the gym day in, day out, they're dedicating and they're committing their whole life to the sport, like, come on, just try and work out maybe like a payment plan or just something to help keep that athlete through. Because when sponsors pull the pin, mentally, it's extremely hard. Extremely hard. So for any sponsors out there listening, like, do the whole journey with the athlete, yeah?
That's
like,
it, with us through thick and thin.
All the way.
I guess, I mean, that sort of sticks it. I mean, as a channel ourselves, you know, we've had a couple of sponsors and they come out. I mean, we get tremendous amounts of views. But I fund this all myself. I mean, well, this is a truly, you know, and it becomes really hard. And you think,
of course,
you know, what we're doing, about 10 million views every month, max, something like that, across everything we do.
Yeah,
and you would have thought that people would,
yeah.
would want to jump all over it. And it becomes so difficult because our audience is so diverse, right? So they all love professional boxing. However, when you've got 60% of them in the United States, people see that and think, okay, well, it's great in one respect, and about 35% of our traffic comes from it's still big numbers, but it's so difficult because of that, and it's probably even easier for us because we offer an advertising opportunity to that amount of people. So and we still find it hard. So much so, I pay about $3,000 every month out of my own personal pocket just to sort of do what we do.
It's the same for me in my career. There's a lot of money coming out of my own pocket.
Exactly.
Like most people my age have a house and they're married and they have kids and they have all these commitments, and I'm just like, every single penny I have, boxing, help my career, the charity, boxing, I'm trying to build my own brand. I do believe it will pay off. I definitely have like that entrepreneurial mindset. I definitely want to prove to the younger generation that hard work, dedication, you'll be rewarded. But it's a lot of sacrifice. Some days I'm like, oh damn, why don't I own a house at my age, and why am I not married, and why have I not had kids?
Do not complain about that.
And then other days I'm like, hell yeah.
do not complain about that.
My godson, sometimes if I stay at my best friend's, but basically she's got my godson, and she can't even have a shower without him following her around. And I'm like, how do you do this? You can't even have a shower. Like, I take shower for granted normally, but now it's like, God, with a toddler running around, like, it's impossible.
Listen, I when it comes to, marriage and children, someone said, how long have you been married? I said, let me think, about 14 years this time round.
Wow.
And they said, when was the happiest time of your life? I went 15 years ago. And then
you don't mean that.
Do you know what? I mean, I do. It just becomes, when this sport, I mean, anybody in this sport, and I think obviously I know a bit about your personal circumstances, Kate, but anybody in this sport that's involved with it, their partners become boxing widows and widowers. And that's all there is to it. I mean, they have to understand that if you're as passionate as I am, and I know as you are, and as, as Max pretends to be,
no, but it's so true. I mean, I know openly talk about it. I said to you the other day, obviously, you asked how my boyfriend is, and, we have gone through so many challenges. We have had to break up, get back together, break up, get back together, because, he's saying, you just prioritize the sport. Like, where do I fit into this? And I completely understand, because, as a person who, just wants to be loved and is looking for a normal relationship, dating an athlete's not going to give you the love and support that you need.
Well, we could always go running with you.
You can always go running with me, but it's we have
a long
so
way to
many
travel.
Challenges along the way, and it always comes back to, like, when do I and where do I fit into this? And I have to say, like, he has been phenomenal. Like, he's been through quite a few of my camps and everything with me. But again, it comes back down to that sacrifice, like sacrificing relationships, sacrificing a house, sacrificing children. I'm 34 next year. The chances of me having children are very slim. Like, time's ticking, and I still feel like I've got a good 3 years in front of me to box and to, achieve all my dreams. So there's a lot of sacrifice that people don't realize. It's a lot of pressure on us mentally as athletes, because you've got to be all in this game.
It's like, you've got, like you said, all in or you're not in.
That's right.
I think as well, I think it goes to everybody involved in the sport, anybody who truly loves it. I mean, I've seen how Will is and what he's thrown into the sport. I know what we do and we do into the sport, and obviously everybody involved. And you, like I say, you've got to have either a very understanding partner or one. There's only two ways it goes, and you can decide on mine. But if you got to have someone who's very understanding or someone who doesn't give a shit, and that's how it has to be, because when you live it, love it, and do it the way it is, we Max and I, like you you go, okay, Alexander Usyk's decided he's going to fight in Poland, and it's like, you're going. I was like, okay. We went off to Wrocław, and I left Max there. And do you know what I mean? And that's what it's like. It's like we go off to Ireland, and Max left me there. I mean, he didn't come. Charming. And then, but you have it's this dedication to what you truly love, and to what makes it, and one of my things after I come away from boxing for a while, and I had this hole like that. It felt like, and I've tried so many different things, it just felt like this massive hole, and it needed to be filled. And the only way it could be filled was to get into that. I could, when I was diagnosed with the macular edema, I knew I could never fight. I couldn't even spar anymore. And I wanted so badly. I started training with Will. I'm like, I think 3 days in, and I had to go to the hospital because I can't see out the right eye. And then you can't even punch in the head anymore because of the
it's
damage.
Heartbreaking.
I couldn't tell you the emotions that goes through it. Like, everyone who's ever stepped in that ring, right? It doesn't matter if it's amateur. So I did amateur. I didn't go pro. I did the amateur stuff. And it's always there. It's always there.
It's one of my biggest fears. After boxing, obviously, I know I've founded a charity, and I believe that I will spend 100% of my time, energy, and effort on that charity. But again, it's still an attachment with boxing. The programs I'm running is all to do predominantly with boxing. And I think it's when you've dedicated so much love and passion and time and commitment to this sport. It's a crazy sport, man. Like, it's almost like when you stop boxing, like, it really does break your heart. I often think, how am I mentally going to cope when I'm not boxing? I can't imagine my life not being a professional athlete. But the reality is, one day that's going to happen. One day I'm going to get too old for this sport. I'm going to have to hang the gloves up and figure out plan B. But I do have to say, sorry,
I was going to say, if the day does come when you finally had your last professional fight, are you going to walk away completely, or do you think you get into like coaching, like a female coach, or something like that?
I will do something. Yeah, obviously I've got my foundation, so I'll continue to run programs for young females, like from disadvantaged communities. Right. Like, that's something I will definitely continue to do, but I will always. I could never completely step away from it. I would have to be like Andy, be around it, somehow be involved in it, be living it, breathing it, speaking it, because it's my one true love, like, it really is my one true love. Like, right now, what else do I have? Obviously, I've got my family and stuff, but what else do I have other than boxing? I've given it 150%. I've packed up my life in Australia. I've moved to the UK. I'm in that gym day in, day out. I'm doing my second sessions. I'm doing my recovery. I'm doing my naps. I'm doing my nutrition. I'm doing my weight. I don't get time for anything else in my life.
You're lucky you got time for sleep.
Podcast. Us. Yay! Right in the middle of the
say though, it's almost 9 p.m.
I know. I'm gonna hurry up. I hate to get a slap in the head when I next come down to the gym next week. So, Kate, I want to sort of talk about just quickly. Obviously, the Paris Olympics have come. There was obviously a lot of controversy involved in female boxing in the Olympics. There's obviously a certain young lady that's going through a bit of emotional trauma with it, having to prove herself in there. It's a very rare condition, the XY chromosome, the IBA poking its nose in the form. What is your take on that? But I feel for her having to prove she's a woman, and I think is it literally take your clothes off and show the world, or well, doctor, obviously? Do you know what I mean?
Look, I had so many people messaging me when that happened, asking, "What do you think? What's the go? What's the go?" And I can even send you screenshots. My reply to everyone was, "Well, not enough testing's been done. You can't say someone's a man, but she's a woman, but you've got no proof in the pudding." Do you know what I mean? Like, they're saying that obviously the XY chromosome was there and whatever, but if you really look into that, I did a little bit of research, not a lot, but it does say an underlying health condition can, cause the XY chromosome. So there's a lot more to it. I'm not a scientist in that, but the one thing that I never do is I never jump to conclusions. I will never follow the crowd. I will do my research, do my homework, and not guilty until proven, right? Yeah. Like, you can't get on social media, and I'm sorry, but fuck with someone's mental health at the time of their life where they are trying to get a gold medal in the Olympics, and then all this hatred go on. Like, what that must have done to her mental health, to her family, the embarrassment and the humiliation. Like, I just think it was completely outrageous. You know, people were way too quick to jump on social media and go with all these memes.
Do you think that's down to the media caused?
Absolutely, it's down to social media.
The slagging off she received.
It's awful. Like, and you know what? I've seen the photos now of her, obviously on the other side with the gold medal and all of this, and there's no woman that deserves it more, because I mean, like, that's some serious stuff she's had to go through, and I think that's something that's probably gonna, in all honesty, like, haunt her for the rest of her life. And the fact is, she's done nothing wrong.
No, that's it. I mean, you can't help what you're born, and you can't help the genetics you have, I guess. And it's just, it is what it is. So, but before we're going to have to let you go very, very shortly, because I know it's nap time and you'll be giving a little list to me next week. But I want to get your perspective. There's two fantastic fights coming up, and I want to get your perspective on it. But before we do that, tell everybody where they can get tickets for your fight and how they get it, because it's so important to support Kate and go there. She's not just a pretty face; she's actually got a meaty right hand, and you're going to see that September.
Thank you, Andy. Okay, so yeah, the best thing to do probably is to jump on my social media, which is Kate McLaren Boxer. DM me for tickets. Obviously, I'm fighting on the Top Tier show, 7th of September. It's going to be a phenomenal night. It's my UK debut. I mean, like Johnny Clark said in an interview the other day, someone asked him about myself and, you know, what he kind of expects from me. And his reply was, I want her to make a statement. So I've been told by the boss what needs to happen. So, you know, I'm going to go out and I'm going to make a statement. I'm going to make sure.
So show the world who Kate McLaren is.
Yeah,
that's it. Right, okay.
100%.
Fantastic. So go down there and get your tickets. Kate would really appreciate your support, and so would I, because she's really lovely and been very kind to me and nice. And okay, so two massive fights coming up this year. September 21st. Daniel Dubois, Anthony Joshua. Who you got and why?
Ooh, I can't wait for this one. I don't know. This is going to be a really interesting fight. I have to say, I think Daniel might have it. I really do.
Right,
I told you, I don't follow the crowd.
You're welcome back again, Kate.
No, this is it. Right, here's the deal.
Don't get me wrong, I love AJ.
Right, no. You've said it now. No. Right, here's the deal. Dinner out, loser pays. Right. That's the easiest dinner I'm getting. Yeah.
When I had his pan,
we'll
big lobster milk. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your predictions, Andy?
AJ does it in 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just don't think.
Max?
I said Dubois going to win. He's going to hit AJ. He's going to rock him because we all know AJ don't like him.
Whichever weight line's getting punched in the head.
Oh, this is getting very controversial now.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got your opinion on that. So the next one, December 21st, Alexander Usyk, Tyson Fury rematch. Who do you have there?
This is another great fight. I think it's got to be Usyk. Yeah,
definitely coming back.
Do you know what, that's a really hard one. That is a really hard one because, you know, we all know how powerful Tyson is, but you know the skill level of Usyk is he's a technical fighter. He analyzes everything.
No, disagree.
Whereas Fury is, you know,
I disagree with you 1,000,000%.
You'll get one of them next week.
Should we end the podcast here?
No, because I don't think Alexander Usyk is a good fighter.
Well, I disagree with you.
One second.
Yeah, you can't even argue it now.
Let me finish. Let me finish. I think he is the ultimate boxer, but he isn't a good fighter. And I'll tell you why. He has got, as far as the heavyweight division comes, you tell me who he is capable of knocking out. Right, all right, let's do
I don't think he can knock
Right,
Fury
there's
out.
a big
No, wait a
difference
minute.
between
He
a
had
fighter and a
Fury knocked
boxer.
out in the 9th.
There is.
Shut your face, Max.
Yeah.
They're not-
The referee saved his ass.
Comment below, guys. Who's got it? Fury or Usyk?
That's it. That's it. And finally, before we go, and the last question I'm going to do today: do you ever think we will see AJ versus Fury?
I don't know. I don't really know the ins and outs between their relationship. There's not like much controversial stuff going on between them two, is there?
Yeah, I don't think there's
They
a lot
don't
of
like
hate
one
between
another.
them. I don't think
Yeah.
they've gone mad at each other or nothing. Ain't like, oh, when I see you, I'm gonna pound your head in and that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like, I think as long as there's no like controversial, like if they hate each other or whatever, then yeah, it probably isn't going to happen. But I wouldn't say no. Yeah, it probably could happen. Let's wait and find out.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Well, Kate, I wish you nothing but the best. I will be
Thank
there with you all throughout and when backstage, because I've already told Will that's happening. And he said, yep, I cannot wait. I think you're going to set the world on fire, and I cannot wait.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful evening, and I will see you in the gym next week.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Max.
See you later.
See you next
Bye-bye,
week.
Kate.